Live from Washington, you're watching Access Point, and I'm Aisha Tanzim. Hello and welcome. The Prime Minister of Pakistan announced earlier this week that the former military dictator General Pervez Musharraf will be tried for treason. Why then is General Musharraf's lawyer still insisting that there will be no trial? And if there is a trial, how will the military react? And how will the US and Saudi Arabia react? We'll put all these questions to our guests. Joining us in the studio is Michael Kugelman, the South Asia expert at the Wilson Center. Via Skype from Philadelphia, we have General Musharraf's international spokesman, Dr. Raza Bukhari. Soon we'll have another guest join us from Pakistan, and I'll introduce them when they join us. I have a very warm welcome to everyone. But before I talk to our guests, let's take a quick detour to our social media desk, where Sarah Zaman's waiting to tell us how the public is reacting to this development. Sarah?
All right, Aisha. On our social media pages, commenters are showing a mixed reaction. Most of them are in favor of General Musharraf and against the government's decision to try him for treason. On Facebook, Asif Kizilbash says General Musharraf is the most honest leader of Pakistan. He had to make compromises which were the cause of his downfall. But Mohib Ghalzai believes that we should follow the Constitution. He says whatever the Constitution says regarding this matter must be implemented. No one should be above the law and no one has the right to act unlawfully. And Nusrat Khan says that whatever General Musharraf did was right. If you notice, Pakistan did much better under military rule than under democracy. And as for the Constitution, he says he's sure there are punishments in it for all those who harmed Pakistan. He says focus should not just be on Article 6. Everyone should be held accountable. We also got a few video comments on this topic. Let's take a look.
I don't think it's the right time because we are already facing many problems in our country. I think government should focus on fixing those problems rather than going against other previous governments.
क्यों नहीं सज़ा मिलना चाहिए? आपको हमको सज़ा मिलना चाहिए तो और किसी को क्यों नहीं मिलना चाहिए? कानून सबके लिए बराबर है. जब तक इस पर अमल दरामद नहीं होगा, इंसाफ नहीं होगा, ये सिलसिला चलता रहेगा. 60 साल से जुल्म नाइंसाफी.
So while some people believe that right now the government should focus on solving domestic issues, others believe that trying the former president now is necessary to show that no one is above the law. Now, you can read more comments on our Facebook page. Log on to Access Point with AT or join us at View Urdu's Facebook page. Back to Aisha.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Now, Dr. Bukhari, I want to start from you and ask you, why is General Musharraf's lawyer, Ahmed Raza Kusuri, insisting that there will not be a trial?
Well, thank you, Aisha, for inviting me to your program. Well, because I think when the investigation will unfold, and if it is a impartial and a deliberate and an honest investigation, the facts will reflect that no laws were violated, and President Musharraf on November 3rd, 2007, acted within the confines of the law. So I think that will be one of the primary reasons why, Mr. Kusuri is one of his many other eminent lawyers that are at work, is making that statement.
One of the things, well, let me first come to you, Mr. Kugelman, before I ask Dr. Bukhari this question. Do you think there'll be a trial?
Well, it may well be that there's not one for various reasons. One, Prime Minister Sharif has said that he's going to consult all political parties before he moves forward to press formal charges. And we've been receiving some signals that certain parties, the MQM, surprisingly the PTI, have said that they're going to put forward their support at the right time for Musharraf.
Almost everybody said they're going to put forward their support.
And also, if I could just say as well, that the process, this is going to be a long process, and it could drag out long enough that, you know, certain key movers and shakers are no longer around, such as the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, who has a vendetta against
He's going to be
retiring. He'll be retiring in December.
Okay. Now, I'm really glad that Dr. Mehdi Hasan, the former chairperson of Human Rights Commission of Pakistan, also a very well-known political analyst in Pakistan, could join us via telephone. Dr. Hasan, a very warm welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I was wondering if you were able to hear Dr. Raza Bukhari, General Musharraf's spokesman, who said that once the investigation takes place, they'll find out he did not violate any laws. What would you say about this trial?
Well, I think that what Ahmed Raza Kusuri said, that there will be no trial, that is possible because there are so many generals involved in that case that the Supreme Court or the present government would hesitate to go ahead with the trials. The coup part of the trial, which is on 12th October 1999, is definitely a violation of Pakistani Constitution, Article 6.
But Dr. Hassan, do you agree with Dr. Bukhari, though, that for the emergency part, the 3rd November emergency, which is what the trial is going to be about, President Musharraf did not violate any laws? Because everybody called it a martial law, which is a very serious violation if it happened.
Well, as far as the interpretation of that episode is concerned, I think that it will show, if they don't proceed against him from October 12, 1999, it will be very clearly a case of biased approach towards this case, because they don't want to involve the armed forces, many generals who were involved in that coup, because it is not possible to have a coup, successful coup, by one general only. And number two, because according to Article 6, all the people who are involved in distorting the Constitution or harming the Constitution.
But Dr. Hassan, let me come back to you. I want to ask this question, and I don't know, Mr. Kugelman, how closely you followed it. One of the reasons that the government is putting forward for only involving the November 3rd emergency and not the October 12th martial law is that they're saying that all martial laws in the country until then were indemnified by the parliament. I'm wondering if what sort of talk is going on in Washington about the legal aspects of it.
Well, I mean, I don't claim to be a constitutional lawyer. I think that the talk in Washington about the Musharraf trial is essentially a lot of curiosity, but really there's a strong emphasis on proving or demonstrating to the United States, the U.S. government is not going to get involved in any way. It's not playing any role. It's not weighing in. Even when U.S. government spokespeople are asked to comment on this announcement, they're deferring. Yeah,
and I'll come
no.
back to that. I'll come back to some counter arguments going on in Washington and why the U.S. should take a role. I want to talk to you about that. Dr. Bukhari, what I want to ask you is that this is not what Mr. Ahmed Raza Kusuri is saying. He's putting forward the same argument that Dr. Mehdi Hassan just put forward, which is if there is a trial, a lot more people might be involved, but the government's saying that for the 3rd November emergency, General Pervez Musharraf is solely to blame, nobody else.
Well, I think the government is wrong and is incorrect. As I've said it, notwithstanding that what Mr. Kusuri is saying, there should not be a trial, because if there is a unbiased and a honest investigation, it will reflect that no laws of Pakistan were violated on November 3rd, 2007, and it is a witch hunt. I think Prime Minister Sharif is driven by a personal vendetta, and I think he is looking to find ways how he can settle a score. But Pakistan is a country of laws, and he also has to work within the confines of his power. So this is.
But this is not initiated by the Prime Minister, though. This was initiated by the court. The government was asked how they would proceed with the trial.
Well, Pakistani courts write laws as they go along. So they it is an activist judiciary that is been, for at least more than 5 years now, has been overstepping its jurisdiction. So this is just another example of Pakistan Supreme Court overstepping its jurisdiction by asking and listening to petitions which have no basis. Filing petition to ask, it is the prerogative of the Pakistani government through its interior ministry to initiate or seek a trial of treason against anyone, but there are these public interest, seemingly public interest petitions filed by 6 or 8 petitioners that the Supreme Court is essentially is wasting taxpayers' money and is fueling a media circus by actually listening to these cases.
Okay, now I want to go back to something that both you and Dr. Mehdi Hasan discussed, and Dr. Hasan, I would like you to comment on it. I asked Mr. Ahmed Iqbal, who's a very senior member of the PMLN, also a cabinet member, I asked him why only 3rd November, why not go back to October 99? Listen to what he had to say.
First of all, General Musharraf's 3rd November 2007 emergency was not indemnified by the Parliament, and that is why this matter is open for trial. Secondly, the Supreme Court judgment made it very clear, and they put the onus for that action of 3rd November on General Musharraf because the notification of emergency was issued in his personal capacity. I, General Musharraf, hereby impose emergency. So it was his person which imposed emergency. I think as a dictator, he was responsible for all his actions, but now investigation team has been constituted. This investigation team will investigate the case and will submit a report, after which we will be able to say with certainty where is the responsibility fixed.
So, Dr. Hasan, you heard what Mr. Ahsan Iqbal had to say. Why do you feel that they need to necessarily go back to October 12th when that was indeed indemnified by the Parliament?
Well, there are two reasons for that. Number one, that a parliament elected after a coup is not a legitimate parliament.
And the judiciary also gave it cover, didn't it?
That parliament is also responsible for to be treated under Article 6 for treason. Number two, because the judges who legitimize General Pervez Musharraf's government after October 12, they should also be prosecuted under Article 6. That is why I say that since there are so many people involved, and there are always many people involved in any successful coup, it is not possible for the present government to go ahead with this trial. And they are trying to fix the responsibility on November 3 only.
Only.
Now, to say that he said that I, General Pervez Musharraf, well, when an emergency is announced, some person will announce.
Somebody has
emergency.
to do it. Okay, I interrupt you just for a second to welcome another guest. I know I'll come to you, Mr. Bukhari. I need to welcome another guest. Mr. Rashid Rahman, editor of the Daily Times, has just joined us from Pakistan. Mr. Rahman, a very warm welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Have you been hearing some of what we've been talking about? The thing about whether we should start from November 3rd or go all the way back to October 12th? What do you think?
Yes, I gathered what you were discussing. It is the topic of discussion these days in Pakistan, as I'm sure you're aware. There is a lot of toing and froing on this issue because even in the National Assembly yesterday, the debate was whether the 99 coup should not be included in this case, if at all it is to be pursued. And some were of the view that we should go back to 1950 military coup and bring all the military dictators who made coups into the dock. Now that, is going to open up a whole Pandora's box. It's going to get very complicated, and I really don't know where this is going.
Okay, Dr. Bukhari, you wanted to add something. I want to give you your chance now.
Yeah, Aisha, real quickly, number one, the November 3rd, 2007 emergency that was declared, that was under Article 232 of the Constitution. There was a parliament in place there that did pass a resolution in support of that. Those actions did not need an indemnity because those actions were taken within the confines of the law. With respect to
the Supreme Court, though, declared them unconstitutional right after they were passed and before the judges were sent home.
Supreme Court of Pakistan is not a divine entity. It actually is All probably, I think most of those judges on the court should have recused in listening to such cases because they are themselves a biased entity. But that being said, it's also under the 20th Amendment that was passed on April 19th, 2010. Until that point,
18th Amendment, you mean? Or 20th?
which was the 20th Amendment. The 18th. I'm sorry. Which
18th
amendment?
Amendment. So the latest amendment. But let me come back to one thing. You talked about some of the judges being party to it. One of the written response by President Musharraf to this whole idea of a treason trial was that he does not expect justice from this judiciary. Is that so? And if there is to be a trial, where does he want it to be held if he doesn't expect justice from this judiciary?
I think that is correct. That these judges, under minimum international standards, judges that feel that they were aggrieved in some ways or were unjustly treated by President Musharraf during his time in office, should actually demonstrate and recuse themselves from playing any role, including the three bench judges that are currently listening these petitions.
So it'll be okay if these judges recuse themselves and there are other judges who do not feel aggrieved?
I think that I would not be, wouldn't have the bandwidth to really weigh in that who should really run, but I think there should be if at all, a trial would have to initiate. I think that the bench should only comprise of those judges that people both domestically and internationally can feel comfort that these are actually credible and
the judges that you feel did not feel aggrieved by General Musharraf. Now, since we are talking about whether the trial should take place from 3rd November or October 12th, which involves who should or should not be tried, let's take a quick detour again to our social media desk where Sara Zaman is going to ask the people who do you think should be tried.
Right, Asha. We asked our commenters whether they think that other military officials should also be included in this trial or not. And we got a variety of answers for this. On Facebook, Osama Tariq says that it was a matter of national interest and arresting General Musharraf alone is not fair. All those military officials who supported him should be tried. While Waqas Ahmed thinks that being a dictator, General Musharraf had all the powers and others could not do anything against him. Also, being his juniors, he says they couldn't blow the whistle on him, so General Musharraf should be the only one facing a treason case. But Ahmed Ali points out that while responsible officers should be tried, this whole matter can cause a clash between the Nawaz government and the military. He says the army wouldn't like to see its retired officers disrespected, and the government should tread carefully if it wants to complete its tenure. Now, what do some people on the streets of Islamabad that we spoke to had to say about this? Let's take a look.
मेरे ख्याल से तो पूरी तरह से इन्वेस्टिगेशन होनी चाहिए. अगर आप सब कुछ कर रहे हैं तो ज़रूरी नहीं है कि मुशर्रफ पे ब्लेम डाल दे कि मुशर्रफ ने अपनी अथॉरिटी का इस्तेमाल करते हुए सारा कुछ जो है वो सारों को मजबूर कर दिया. ज़रूरी नहीं है कि ऐसा हो. अगर आपने करना है तो सारों की इंक्वायरी करें कि उन्होंने अगर वो थे तो वो भी सबको बता सकते थे कि मुशर्रफ हम पे दबाव डाल रहा है या बोझ डाल रहा है.
अगर आप दूसरे जर्नल्स के ख़िलाफ़ जाएंगे तो यकीनन इस वक्त जो है वो आप फिर लोग सवाल उठाएंगे कि ये पूरी फ़ौज के ख़िलाफ़ कार्रवाई शुरू हो गई है. तो इससे बेहतर है कि इनको 3 नवंबर 2007 की जो एमरजेंसी के हवाले से जो इक़दाम उन्होंने किए, मैं समझता हूँ उसी को सिर्फ छेड़ना चाहिए.
So our first commenter thinks that General Musharraf could not have acted alone and there should be a thorough investigation to hold everyone involved accountable. But the other commenter thinks that the investigation should be limited to President Musharraf. Otherwise, it will be seen as an effort to malign the military. Now let's go back to Aisha to hear what our experts have to say.
Thank you very much, Sara. Mr. Rahman, I want to ask you, since you joined us a little later, I asked right at the top of the show, given this debate, do you think there will be a trial?
Well, you know, there probably will be. I mean, the way the momentum is going, I don't think it is now possible for this government to withdraw from it. The government didn't initiate this case. These are petitioners. The government has, in a sense, been dragged into it because the Supreme Court then summoned the government to clarify its position on this case. The government initially asked for 30 days to file an answer, but the court gave it only 3.
Only 3 days, and they
So
had to
it has-
respond. Now, one thing, Mr. Rahman, what I want to ask you, and then maybe Dr. Hassan as well, that there are lots of news stories going around in Pakistan that Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif actually got the blessing from the military before he made that announcement in Parliament. Now, I asked Mr. Ehsan Iqbal, the senior PML and leader, whether that was true. Let's listen to his answer before we talk about it.
As far as the issue of trial of General Musharraf is concerned, it relates to a Supreme Court judgment, and it is a rule of law issue. And Prime Minister and the Cabinet have taken an oath to uphold and protect the Constitution. So they are duty-bound to implement the decision of the Supreme Court. Therefore, there is no need to ask military for the permission to proceed in this manner, because it is a direction of the Supreme Court and it is in line with the principle of rule of law.
Okay, despite what Mr. Ehsan Iqbal has said, that the government did not talk to the military, I want everybody's opinion. So starting with you, Mr. Rahman, do you think Mr. Sharif went to General Kiani and got his blessing?
If he did, obviously they're not going to admit it. Mr. Ehsan Iqbal is charged with defending his government. I don't blame him for putting a cover on this. The issue is this. Everybody here is saying that if the government were to proceed in a manner that then involves the 99 coup, the Pandora's box that opens is the judiciary, presently sitting on the benches, gets involved because they endorse that coup. The collaborators with Musharraf through his 8 or 9 years of rule also get dragged in. 627 people and counting will probably be dragged into the case. Now, nobody wants that to happen. Certainly not the government, because
But
it's
that's
clear-
why they're limiting to the November 3rd emergency, isn't that why?
Yes, exactly. You see, if they go ahead in that manner, then other generals, some retired, some serving, may also get dragged into it. It wouldn't just be Musharraf.
General
The
Kiani was
government
the head
needs
of
the
ISI
military.
when the coup happened, and he
Let
was
me-
part
let
of
me
that.
just finish. Let me just finish. The government needs the military at the moment to fight terrorism. It wants it on the same page. It doesn't want a confrontation. It has bad experiences of confrontation with the military in the past. I don't think Mr. Sharif has forgotten those experiences. So if you listen to the ministers, especially Chaudhry Nisar, we keep saying that we are not interested in humiliating the army. We are only looking at an individual, Mr. Musharraf, and therefore it is safer for the government to confine itself to the 2007 emergency and not go any further.
Dr. Bukhari, a very simple question. Is there a possibility of a deal?
Aisha, but before I answer that, a straight answer to that is no. But I do want to comment on what Mr. Rahman said with respect to that they only want to target President Musharraf as if he was like an unwanted child or a stepchild, as if targeting him or gunning for him is not going to create friction or challenges with the military. Let it be known, and I think it is widely believed and accepted that President Musharraf is in the rank and file of serving and retired officers and troops, is actually very well liked and appreciated. It is a fact that he was their former army chief and actually also one of the SSG commandos. So he has a wide respect within the military and an admiration. Also,
So you're
just to
saying basically, even if he's targeted alone, even if this is limited to November 3rd, the military will react?
Number one, even if it is limited to November 3rd, there is in this entire conversation and generally in this circle, there is an assumption within the media that there was actually laws were broken and high treason was committed. But if that assumption is true, even today, President Musharraf does not take a glass of water without a whole bunch of people being involved in providing him with a glass of water. So do you think so that he acted on November 3rd just all alone out of some from out of outer space? So quite frankly, these were acts of the government that were
Other people were
implemented and
involved. So
executed.
so what you're saying is that
In every action of President Musharraf, which was clearly from our point of view was lawful and within the confines of the law, there were and
other
there
people
were other
involved.
people involved. With
Oh,
respect to your question about a deal, deal for what? You cut a deal when you have done something wrong. President Musharraf has not committed any, crime. Pakistan is his home. He clearly, like any other Pakistani, wants to live in Pakistan, travel freely within and outside Pakistan. He has commitments across the globe that he wants to and should be able to fulfill, and should be able to travel after
so
he has
basically, he wants to live in Pakistan and travel as he pleases, but he has other trials to face, even if this trial doesn't go forward. We'll talk about that later. But let me come to you, Dr. Mehdi Hasan, about this deal part of it. Do you think at some point Saudi Arabia might get involved as they have in the past?
I think President Musharraf or former President Musharraf's coming to Pakistan is definitely, in my opinion, has become practical after he must have been assured by certain elements, by certain forces, that he can go to Pakistan and nothing unusual will happen with him. Otherwise, he would not have
When
come
you
to
say
Pakistan.
elements, Dr. Hassan, are you saying international elements, our Arab friends, or are you talking about elements in the military?
Any armed forces.
By the armed forces?
Number two, my thinking is that the trial will not go ahead because it is already a biased trial. I'll give you an example that thrice during last 15-20 days, the Chief Justice of Pakistan has announced that Musharraf should be treated harshly for his coup attempt.
Which is exactly the point of Dr. Raza Bukhari, that some judges should recuse themselves. Now, I want to come to you, Mr. Kugelman, which is, we're talking about some Arab countries being involved. Saudi Arabia is known to be involved in the past. You're saying that U.S. is standing on the sideline. There is an argument going on in Washington. I was reading Sadanand Dume's blog the other day that U.S. maybe should take a side, that by siding with the civilian government, the U.S. is making it stronger. Therefore, Pakistan's foreign policy, which is India-centric, would be more in line with U.S. interests.
It's a fair argument, but I think that the United States government knows better than to do that. It's learned its lessons about meddling in domestic affairs, domestic politics in Pakistan. And I think it showed that it's already started doing that. I mean, during the recent election, the U.S. government refused to take any sort of position on any of the candidates. It refused to endorse anyone. So I think that the U.S. government, assuming it is not involved in this affair, and I don't think it is involved, it's absolutely doing the right thing. Let things play out.
Do you think the U.S. could have given Musharraf some guarantees before he left for Pakistan?
No, not the U.S. government. You could certainly point to some other international players that could be involved in this. Certainly one could talk about any potential Saudi role, but in terms of the U.S., I don't think so. Certainly, Musharraf has a lot of friends in Washington, and most of these friends are with a government that no longer runs, the George W. Bush administration, which had a very good relationship with Musharraf when he was in office. But that government is gone. I think the Obama administration has learned its lessons, and it really is not going to inject itself into this situation, which I think would be the U.S. reputation, its image, it's radioactive in Pakistan. So any idea of getting involved in this type of thing would be sheer folly, in my view.
Dr. Bukhari, were there any guarantees by either Washington or Riyadh before General Musharraf went back to Pakistan?
Returned to Pakistan because he belongs in Pakistan. He did not leave Pakistan with any guarantees. He did not return to Pakistan with any guarantee. But I will mildly disagree with Michael. United States has a leadership role in the world, and United States, it is not true. There is a concern within the Obama administration of how things are unfolding.
Our time is getting up. So you're saying U.S. should get involved, which is exactly opposite of what Mr. Kugelman said.
In some ways, they are.
Okay, so
demonstrating
I'm
their
so
concern.
sorry I have to interrupt you because our time is up. I wish we had more time, but before we go, I'd like to thank our guests, Michael Kugelman of the Wilson Center, Dr. Raza Bukhari, the international spokesman of General Musharraf, Mr. Rashid Rahman, editor of the Daily Times, and Dr. Mehdi, a political analyst from Pakistan. And thank you for joining us. Please check out our website, urduvoa.com. Until next time, goodbye.